Wear boots. Big plug over there, man, they're not scared. Does that mean you there? No, really? Where it came from. That's just the same thing. You step on the bug.
Good evening and welcome to the regular town council meeting for August 4th, 2026. I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask everybody to stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Ask you to join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Move on to adoption of the minutes. So look for a motion from the council to adopt meeting minutes from July 14th, 2026.
Make a motion, we adopt meeting minutes July 14th, 2026.
No second.
Moved and seconded. Are there any questions, concerns, or comments regarding the meeting minutes from July 14th from the audience? Heather.
Page missing. I already talked to them about it.
All right,
If that can get reposted.
sure.
After the meeting with the page.
All righty,
One page was out of the minutes with nothing.
No.
excellent. Thank you. Any other questions, concerns, or comments? Hearing none, I sense we're ready to vote. All those in favor of adopting the meeting minutes from July 14th, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it, the meeting minutes from July 14th, 2026 have passed. Moving on to the town manager's report, Jack.
A few things I want to update you on. One of the things that I had handed out was where we're at with getting a new plow truck for this upcoming season. We have found a used truck that we think is suitable. It's been looked at. We're gonna go over it a little bit more. But it would come with a brand new stainless body installed. And it would be about 2/3 of the budget we have for the truck, so be well under budget, so. We think we can wrap up that process in the next couple weeks or so and be ready to plow snow when it's time to. We, as I mentioned at the last meeting, we'll be working with KV Cog. And they have a consultant working with them on a housing opportunities study that we got a grant for back in 2024. And this is very timely because we're gonna get information from that housing opportunity study that will be able to be used in our comprehensive plan next year when we get going on that. It'll be very relevant data that'll really look at the housing situation here and give us a lot of ideas on how to encourage more of that. MDOT's North Main Street project is technically starting this week. There's not a huge amount of activity, but the stake's in the ground and you know, some things starting to happen. The Honeywell Sewer project that we have going on was supposed to be getting started in early August, but that's gotten pushed to early September now. Tentative start date on that is September 7th for Honeywell. And then just wanted to mention on Library Street, we've been able to get the binder down and they'll have to do some restoration of curb and then they'll put the surface down later in August. And then the other paving that we'll do on West Street, Highland Street, Oak Street is gonna be either late August or first week in September. So that's the schedule for paving. What I have.
Excellent. There are department head reports in the packet.
No, those will be,
Or they
because we
will be in the package?
early in the month, they'll be in the
Oh, yeah, nice. Okay. Moving on to new business. Nicole, can you please read resolution 2655?
Resolved that the town council approve the appointment of Bernard Burnett as chief of police for the town of Pittsfield.
Look for a motion from the council.
Make a motion, we adopt resolution 2655.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Jack, you need to.
I just want to say that I'm very pleased to bring Mr. Burnett forward to the town council for appointment as chief of police. There was a great hiring process and Mr. Burnett is extremely well qualified for the position and I think I speak for everybody that we're all looking very forward to working with Chief Burnett.
Yes, sir. There any questions from the audience regarding resolution 2655 and appointing Bernie Burnett as the chief of police? Yes, Mike.
I don't have a question, but I have a comment.
Yeah.
I think the council committee did an excellent job and there's no better choice here. This should be a slam dunk. I'm looking forward to seeing you around for more, Bernie.
Thank you, Mike.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael. Any other comments from the audience? Hearing none. Any comments from the council? Just, yeah, really looking forward to, working with you and looking forward to hit the ground running and
Absolutely, same.
it's gonna be great. Yeah, absolutely. All right, we can vote on it or do you swear them in first? We vote first. All those in favor of resolution 2655, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Resolution 2655 passes. You can't back out now, Bernie.
What's that?
What's that?
We're having that race, right?
You don't need to read it.
Great, Ernie.
I, Bernard Burnett, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution and obey the laws of the United States and the state of Maine. That I will, all respects, observe the provisions of the charter and ordinances of the town of Pittsfield. And will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of the chief of police. According to the Constitution and the laws of the state, so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Bye.
Good. We're great. Appreciate it. Yeah, look forward to it.
I was gonna bring in a notebook with like all kinds of papers, say it's only gonna take a minute. Go quick. I appreciate the council and the committee for putting their faith in me to do this job. It's not an easy task to be a chief and it's a lot of responsibility. I appreciate the opportunity. So I'm looking forward to working with you two and members of the community, which is our biggest stakeholders, obviously, and community members and business owners. So appreciate that. To all my family and friends that showed up tonight, I appreciate it. Thank you for the support. Christine, my wife, dad Mike, my brother Tony, wife Janet, my kids, Travis, Hallie, Thea, and yeah. Right. Izzy. So appreciate it. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate the support. Take care.
Awesome. If you folks want to leave, you are more than welcome. We won't be offended, but. But, yeah, I figured. I kind of figured. There goes our. Through. Thank you. What? There you go. Gonna let them off the hook. All right. We're in it for the long haul, folks. Let's move on to resolution 2656. Nicole.
Resolved that the town council move the ordinance titled Town of Pittsfield sign ordinance to first reading at the next regular town council meeting.
Look for a motion from the council.
Make a motion, we adopt resolution 2656.
A second.
Moved and seconded. Jack, do you want to speak to Food sovereignty.
So, obviously at the last meeting, we got, a great presentation from Amanda on, the food sovereignty ordinance. And our next step was to, have our legal counsel review it and make, recommendations. Derek is here, anybody has any questions on those, but he, did provide some, feedback to us, and then he incorporated, his recommendations into, an ordinance that he would, recommend move forward, for Pittsfield and I won't speak for Derek entirely, but yeah, he did reference doing some work in other communities on food sovereignty and basically incorporated some things that were pretty common in the ordinance that he's worked with in terms of making sure it meets its intent and doesn't do things that are unintended and undesired, I guess is a good way to put it.
Derek, is there anything you need to add or?
Yeah, sorry, just the only things that are really happened within this that change anything that's already out there. It's just that we've encountered issues with zoning and animal cruelty. It doesn't seem like animal cruelty would be a one, but you can sell the eggs, it's how they keep the chickens at the farm, that's the issue that we've come across. Zoning is pretty self-explanatory, setting up stands in dangerous areas or areas of high commercial concentration. Everything else in the spirit of the ordinance is intact as it
Okay.
is. I think food sovereignty is great.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much. Are there any questions from the audience regarding resolution 2656? Amanda, please.
Thank you, Amanda Collmore, Library Street. The big questions that I would have is one, when we're talking about eggs and chickens, that's a totally different part of the law that's fully exempt already for roadside sales. This has nothing to do, food sovereignty and the constitutional right to food also have absolutely nothing to do that would negate animal cruelty. So we wanna make sure that that's a totally separate section of law that this would not trounce upon. And then just to understand where the language was unclear, because the language in this, I guess I don't understand where some of the language was unclear because they've been adopted in other towns as it was written, except that we updated for the brand new laws that were passed. So those would be my questions and things as we get ready to move this into that public hearing world.
All right, Derek, you wanna specifically talk to the aspects that you modified and
Well, I,
kind of put you on the spot? Oop,
Point of order,
what?
the audience shouldn't be able to speak until the end of the meeting.
He's an attorney.
Nobody, care if he's attorney or who he is.
That's
The
it.
information should be provided to you by the town manager.
Okay.
And whoever else is involved before your meeting. But they shouldn't be speaking in public during your meeting.
All right, this is how we've run our meetings for,
I'm sorry, but it's wrong.
You're
All right.
correct.
well,
I can tell you that. I'm the oldest former mayor of this community. And it's wrong. Nobody in the audience can speak on anything you got here. You need to have a hearing and let them speak. But not anything on your agenda. Thank you.
all right. Yeah. Yeah, so our rules have since changed since back then
I
and
don't believe it.
Well-
They can't change.
that's okay, yeah, they can change.
They can't.
All right, well, we're not gonna argue about it and this is the way we're running the meeting. So if you have an issue with that,
Anything you vote on tonight is null and void,
no,
well, you'll find it will be.
okay, well, you can take that up with the lawyer after the meeting and you guys can hammer that out. But this is the way we're running the meeting tonight and this is the way we've always run our meetings.
You're getting in trouble.
Okay, well. You can figure that out later, but anyway. Derek, do you have anything that you could shed light on some of the,
sure.
if there's anything?
Sure, what she is absolutely correct, that these things that we have brought up or addressed in other areas of the law, it has been an easier trend for clarity of understanding for the layperson that is reading these laws. to incorporate different statutes into one another, so that way it is written for the layperson and not someone who has more familiarity with the law like myself or Madam Legislature.
Mhm. That,
I'll have more questions for the public hearing.
sure, okay. We can, and if you have any, you can certainly send the questions ahead of time and we can be, you know, a little more prepared for any questions you might have, so. Yeah, Michael.
Michael Chinket, the bond. So I'm concerned, I know it's been addressed. Is there a reason why? Pardon me for addressing them.
No, you're good.
Is there a reason why animal cruelty was brought up in this? I mean, has there been an instance? Has there been threats? Has there been, anything that we should be concerned about? It's just a little disconcerting to me that that term is brought up into, you know, food sovereignty. We're gonna have a farm stand. Is there any instances that this is coming up, or just somebody thought to cover all bases?
No, sir, we've had issues with chickens in Waterville, people keeping 30 chickens within a 10-foot by 10-foot area.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. Yeah, lessons learned from other towns, as I'm guessing, trying to cover ourselves and everything else, I would guess. Any other? Yeah, Heather, please.
I'm gonna come up here and stand because
Yeah.
I've watched.
No, I appreciate it.
As I've watched meetings online, you cannot see anybody back there. It's
Yeah.
like a voice from beyond, unless somebody's standing in front of the lectern.
No, appreciate it.
Good evening. My name is Heather Donahue. I'm gonna kind of introduce myself because I don't know everybody on the council anymore. My name is Heather Donahue. I reside at 461 Webb Road here in Pittsfield. I rise before you tonight to speak in opposition of the proposed Town of Pittsfield Food Sovereignty Ordinance. I stand before you as a concerned Pittsfield resident and a business owner for over 15 years.
Yeah.
As a farmstead dairy producer, we're licensed by the state of Maine, DACF, Department of Agriculture, Conservation and Forestry, and we hold a Maine Dairy Distributor license, a mobile vendor license, and we're registered with the Maine Milk Commission for production. We also have a registered dairy production plant on site. In addition to these licenses, we are certified organic by MOFGA and are inspected annually for that certification. I'd like to address some of the previous testimony given regarding this ordinance and the circumstances that generated the food sovereignty movement in Maine. Mrs. Collmore gave a good recent history of the legislation as passed through the Maine State House and through the voting that went on to have the what's it called? The
Constitutional.
amendment. Yes, thank you. I'd like to go back a little further than that to 2014 though, and to a farmer named Dan Brown in Blue Hill. Briefly, Dan Brown milked 4 to 5 cows and sold bottled raw milk from his farm at farmers market into stores. Initially, as a fellow dairy farmer, I was supportive of his plight of what to do with this extra production. Until I read the criminal complaint filed by the state of Maine. Among other issues around sanitation that were listed, Mr. Brown was bottling milk in recycled cranberry juice containers. He was visited numerous times by DACF QA staff, which is Quality and Assurance Department, and informed of what he needed to do to comply with state law at the time. Obviously, those state laws have changed. Mr. Brown asserted that he was feeding his neighbors, and voila, a food sovereignty movement was born, and his prosecution by the state was defended by an out-of-state entity called the Farm to Consumer Legal Defense Fund, who I used to donate to because I believed in their mission until it was clearly misguided funding of this defense because he was clearly not doing things in a safe food manner. 12 years later, here we are. Consumer protection laws have been gutted. Science has been pushed to the side in the name of personal choice and food freedom. I too think that you should be able to choose the foods that you eat. Our farm started as a way to feed our own family when my kids were young. That's how we started as a farm. When you're selling food or any other item to another person, it's commerce, and commerce is regulated across the board. When you use that commerce to create an income stream, that is a business. And in many instances, business is regulated and requires licensing. The cost of licensing our farm with the state of Maine, and it has grown from just feeding our own family. We feed thousands of people across the state, multiple states every year, $85. The cost of being a licensed home kitchen in the state of Maine to sell at your legal farm stand is $20 a year. Please tell me how this is very, very expensive, as quoted from the previous discussions on this topic. Home kitchen licensing requires an initial inspection along with that $20 fee. And I brought a copy of the actual guidance from the state of Maine, and these are available on their website for the home food license. The requirements are a clean and sanitary processing area, water regulations, you have a 2-bay sink or a 1-bay sink and a dishwasher, common things found in most people's homes. If you have your own private well, you have to do a water test first to show that you have clean, safe water to use in processing. We test ours monthly just because that's what we choose to do as a processor. It's $65. You can get it done right in Newport. Once a year, you have to do that. Thermometer has to be in your refrigerator, and you have to do canned shelf-stable products. Some of those products need to be reviewed, both your recipe and your finished product testing at the University of Maine or another quality food lab. That part is expensive. It's about $65 to $75 per product. The reason why you do that is because grandma's favorite tomato sauce might have been safe to make back in grandma's age. It might not be today. Fruits and vegetables have changed. Tomatoes are not acidic as they used to be. And if you're not acidifying your tomatoes when you're canning them, you're opening yourself up to bacterial growth. You have to keep your animals out of your processing area, not all the time, just while you're making food, and you need to clean everything beforehand. So that inspection, because we did have a home food license, I did baking out of our home kitchen for our farmers markets, doing breads, muffins, granola, all shelf food stable. We could put butter in them. That was like a 15-minute inspection, not overly burdensome for $20. And it's a one-time inspection. Once you have your license, they just renew it year after year. They don't come back unless there's a reason. So that, I hope, kind of like illustrates some of the ease that you can get licensed and be within the fold of food safety. Because food safety does not depend on the size or the frequency of your sales. Bacteria are not discriminatory in that way. There are very good reasons for buttercream frosting and other dairy-based products to be prohibited from home kitchen production. Butter is not prohibited from use just to regulate the product safe. Just the reason why it's prohibited from use is to regulate the product to make sure that it's a safe product. If you adopt this ordinance, which I highly suggest you don't, I would ask that at very minimum, signage be required. Standardize it, make it bright and large. And I will say that an 8.5 by 11 sign saying I'm producing blah, blah, blah under inspection or not under inspection was deemed in the Dan Brown case by the judge as not adequate notification. So they can't just put a sign up in the window. You need to have a sign, it needs to be bright, to say clearly that consumers are going to be aware that the food that they're going to be buying at that location is not under inspection in any way. And they have not gone under any visits from anybody in order to do it. And I know a lot of people kind of bleed this into food freedom and all of these other issues, but when it comes down to it, licensing of food production is about safety. It is not about taking away people's freedom. Licensed food producers provide safe food, and you don't have those guarantees otherwise. And I'm happy to answer any questions about the different licenses that you might have.
All right, thank you, appreciate it. Are there any other comments or questions, concerns from the audience? Any questions?
One,
Oh, yeah, Mike,
if I may.
quickly, yep.
Yeah,
No, I know.
Quick like a bunny.
I know you are.
If I may ask you a question to Heather, because you'll probably know this better. So with your production, you're much higher scale than you used to be. I know you said you're in numerous states and thousands of people you deal with all the time. Let's say Joe Schmo has a half dozen chickens, he wants to sell his eggs. Is there a limit to the size I mean, I assume this is set up for, if somebody has a couple goats and a cow and a couple chickens, they wanna kinda make some money on the side or get rid of your excess eggs. Is there a size, that requires this? I mean, I understand you, I appreciate that,
Right.
but I didn't know if there was something that you could.
So as far as I know,
Yeah.
food sovereignty does not have a size restriction on it. And Dan Brown, for example, had 4 cows. And you can make a very good living off of 4 cows and processing that milk. It's a business. You're not just feeding your neighbors. You're not sharing food with your neighbors. They are buying it from you. You have a business that you're running, and that has all kinds of implications through the state of Maine for regulation, licensing, taxing, all of that. So as far as I know, no, there isn't any licensing, requirements, minimum size, maximum size for the food sovereignty. The exception to that, and like poultry is accepted from that, there's a 1,000 bird exemption. If you do 1,000 or less, then you still need a license from the state, but it's like really minimal.
One quick follow-up, I promise to be quick.
Yes,
Is
sir.
there, some kind of change or exemption if you're considered a business? I assume your farm is considered a business?
We're registered with the state of Maine as a business. We
Okay, so
can't do business with wholesale, and stores and whatnot if you're not registered as a business.
Because you are a business, you have a certain plateau you need to maintain. This wouldn't.
The minimum requirements from the state of Maine is we hold the licenses that I talked about. They come and inspect for dairy, they come and inspect, they do, water samples twice a year just for coliform. We have to do 1 sample a year for nitrates, nitrites, and coliform. And that's the one that you still have to do for your, baking. And then they come and check our equipment. So like we have a pasteurizer, so they come and check our thermometers and stuff, which would not be applicable to like a home person.
Okay, all right.
But a lot, one thing that I didn't mention is that, the state of Maine, we're so fortunate. At least in the dairy world, we are the only state in the nation, literally, that allows heat treatment of milk. And that just means that, like, I have a pasteurizer and it has 2 electronic probes and a chart that electronically records the temperature and the time as we're pasteurizing to show that we've met the minimum thresholds and that it's safe by process. In Maine, we're also allowed to have a 5-gallon pot with another pot in it and have a water jacket and have the cheesemaker stir the milk and maintain the temperature and write down the times and the temperatures as they're doing it. We're the only state that allows that. Those products have to stay within the state of Maine, so it's a reduced pool of people that are gonna be having that available to them. But that one rule has allowed the dairy industry to grow so that people can have 2 or 3 goats and be able to have a small cottage industry business. Doing that, you have to either heat treat the milk or you have to age your cheeses. You cannot sell cheese milk that's been processed if it's not aged more than 60 days. You can sell raw milk. And that's the other part that we are very fortunate. We can sell it at farm stands, at grocery stores. You can do home delivery, you can do CSAs, everything. It's very open. We're the only state that has that level, or one of few states that have that level of availability for food.
Okay,
Thank you for indulging me, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate
you're
that.
welcome. Or any other comments from the audience? This is again, just the first time we're talking about it, and it will go to a first reading at the next council meeting, and then we'll go to public hearing after that. So I encourage everybody to come back and speak on behalf, one way or another, on the topics. But are there any comments from the council regarding resolution 2656?
My only question is, on the food sovereignty, was there any classification of food that was exempt from it, that you cannot sell this type of food without getting a license, or is it, you can sell whatever you want?
No, it was meat.
Okay, so,
Yeah, the thing, no dairy, yeah.
oh, so no meat or dairy?
Well, no meat, but dairy is not listed. That was the other thing I was gonna say, is dairy is not listed in your ordinance. It says meat and poultry, it does not say dairy.
It says any other federally controlled, which dairy falls under.
I would feel more comfortable about it being like written in there.
All right,
Can talk about it later. Yep. Okay, thank you.
could be discussed. All right, any other questions from the council? Since we're ready to vote, all those in favor of resolution 2656, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it, resolution 2656 is passed, and we'll go to a first reading. Moving on to 2657, Nicole.
Resolved that the town council approve the quote from blank for the repair of the bleachers at Hawthorne Park.
Look for a motion from the council.
Make a motion that we adopt resolution 2657.
Moved and seconded. Jack, do you want to speak to this, or do you want?
I'll just say that, Jacob has spent a lot of time, chasing down, different options for bleachers at Hawthorne, and, I appreciate the work that he's put into this, and, I'm happy to let him elaborate, but, he has, recommended that we, move forward with the first, quote that you see in your packet, which is Pine State Recreation at Bangor.
Yep.
To basically rehab the bleachers that we have, replace the wooden planks with aluminum. They come in and do the install and do the service thereafter, if there's any issues.
Excellent. Is there anything more you wanna?
I would simply add, so like Pine State, part of the reason leading in that direction, they're already doing a bunch of work down in Manson Park. So we save money on shipping, so they're already shipping a bunch of planks and stuff to Manson for some of the work Paul's having done down there. We would simply jump on board with that, and shipping is, when you look at some of those coast shipping gets pretty astronomical, right, pretty quickly, so. We save collectively between us and what they're doing down at the park, 2,500, for the work being done, so.
Good, excellent. Are there any questions from the audience regarding resolution 2657? Hearing none, any questions from the council? Greg, do you want to?
I have to amend it.
Yeah, because you got to accept that.
Yep.
The quote from Pine
State
State.
Recreation, okay, so I'd like to amend resolution 2656 to resolve that town council approve the quote from Pine State Recreation in the amount of $18,488 for the repair of the bleachers at Hawthorne Park.
Thank you.
Moved and seconded, right, all those in favor of resolution 2657 as amended, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it, resolution 2657 passes as amended. Moving on to resolution 2658, Nicole.
Resolved that the town council authorize the town manager to sign a power purchase contract for the town at a fixed price for blank month for December 2026 through December blank.
Look for a motion from the council.
Make a motion that we adopt resolution 2658.
Moved and seconded. Jack, do you want to speak to this?
Yeah, so one of the handouts that you had at your place when you came in is some information on what the pricing is right now. If we renew our contract that ends December 2026, if we renew that for a 24 month, well, a 12 or 24 or 36 month, or even a 48-month period. Our broker reached out a couple weeks ago and is highly encouraging that we lock in another contract now and not wait until December of this year. There's a lot of uncertainty and risk of higher pricing later on. The second page of this handout is what our savings has been over the past year, projected out to this current contract, projected to December. And that projects out to about $13,000 in savings from the contract that we've been in. So I think it's beneficial to this, and it was this time of year last year that we did the contract. In asking the broker what his recommendation would be, he really thought the longer the better. When I look at this, I guess I wouldn't recommend any shorter than 24 months, and I would be very comfortable going 36 months out with this pricing. Um, it's given us budgetary certainty, we know it's gonna be, and it's not a risk going forward, and, the risk that a severe decrease happens during this time period is, probably not as,
Seems like it'd be low.
yeah, it's, you know, probably a lower dollar amount risk, to the downside than it would be that the prices would go to the upside.
Not
good.
Do they offer any downside protection on that? Is there any downside
There's no
protection?
downside, well, there's no downside protection if the cost of electricity dropped below what this baseline is. We pay this either way.
Okay. And it's truly only secured for 24 months, and then it's subject to.
So there's gonna be, right, it's gonna be capacity subject to cost adjustment beginning in June of 2028. So yeah, 24 months is all we'll be able to lock in for before. We would actually have 6 months of that, the December 2028 contract. Because we'd be voting now to lock in pricing, but we wouldn't be into that, but we're still in our contract until December. So we get this pricing starting January of 2027. But we would be subject to 6 months of the capacity cost adjustment under a 24-month contract.
Okay,
What does that mean, capacity subject to cost adjustment?
Capacity subject to cost adjustment, they'll. My understanding of it is they would be able to apply. Some type of multiplier to this based on. The availability of power given.
Some sort of
So
subsidy.
it's
Yeah.
it's their capacity, not our consumption.
that's correct, and that was my concern, 'cause that's
Yeah,
basically your,
I think they're gonna look at the availability of power that they can sell us at that time. And they do have the ability to reprice it for those, in a 24-month contract for those last 6 months.
So even if you did the 48-month contract, you're still subject to cost adjustments beginning on June 28th?
yeah, so if they
June
wanna,
2020.
if they wanna go up after June 2028, we're locked for 2 years at whatever they choose to put us to.
Well, then what is the benefit of going longer?
There really doesn't seem to be one.
Seems like there's a benefit to the 2 years, but
That's what I'm thinking.
not
too.
beyond that.
But it's, I mean, that's why they give the cost savings, right, cause they know that that's probably going to. Adjust
Probably gonna go
by
up.
that
and up.
24-month period, and then we're gonna actually see an accelerator on, that would be my only concern, right, cause. Obviously, I'm used to that language in our contracts as well, so.
I think what the risk would be is if we did 24 months and we had to re-up in December of 2028. The schedule that we're gonna be looking at in June and July of 2028 to do the next year or two isn't probably gonna be this. In other words, it wouldn't be the equivalent to this. It would be, because they're gonna do the adjustment on what's locked in, and they're gonna have a complete reset of what's available to buy then.
Of course, just like they did now, right, we're 2 cents plus up, if we just do the same term that we did last time, cause it's.
Right, but they can, yeah, at that same time, they can adjust it any way they want anyway, right? Well, not anyway.
They'll adjust, they would make an adjustment to our locked-in pricing versus basically giving us a brand new schedule
Right.
based on partially baked into, you know, what they have to adjust.
Yeah,
So. If we were to do 24 months, which covers what we're doing, right? So it's.
so yeah.
Basically, we're betting. Looking $3,000 difference. Oh, per year. On the, we would save $3,000 a year going with the 48 month over the 24 month. For the first 2 years. But we have absolutely no idea what years 3 and 4 have, and we're locked in whatever they decide to move that rate to.
But. But 3 and 4 would be better than going back out to the,
Cause if we're
a
at,
new schedule altogether, wouldn't it?
cause if we're at,
They're not gonna adjust it to a. Like above what a, or the same that a new
I
schedule
would
would
say
say.
it depends on how much of a bath they take in year 1 and 2.
Uh,
You know what I'm saying? Like if they lose money on us in year 1 and 2, why would they not adjust us to kind of pull back some of those losses in 3 and 4?
so weird contract in general, I guess.
It is, I mean, usually your accelerators are listed like no greater than 5% accelerator year 2, no greater than 10% year 3.
Yeah.
You know, and usually that's
prefer to
spelled
do that.
out, right? If they wanted to give us some sort of language of what their max accelerator would be, I'd be okay with that, but I don't know. For $3,000 a year, I don't.
if we're looking for a contract in 2028, let's say we went without a contract, we'd be on the spot market at that point. So if we were, if we avoided the adjustment and then we're on the spot market's gonna be reflecting whatever the conditions that caused their adjustment. So we'd be actually, I think, hit twice. Would be hit with a spot market price that had to be adjusted based on whatever the capacity constraint is that, you know, that we saw. So I don't see how we'd ever be worse off without a contract. And the 36-month one is giving us it was giving us 12 cents even. So every rung out the ladder, I wouldn't probably go more than the 36, but every rung out the ladder, you get a lower lock in. And so that capacity adjustment would be across the board. And it's just gonna apply to a lower number.
I would say
Point of
36.
order, Mr. Mayor, is there a motion on the floor?
Yeah, there is.
There is.
Yeah, and we're
I
discussing
made a
it.
motion.
I do.
He did,
Seconded it.
she did,
Okay, thank you.
yep.
So my max would be 36, I think. I think my preference would be on 24. 48 for me is kind of, I mean, I think we're putting ourselves in a.
Unless we can get the contract with
I mean, I've said this before, and I guess, you know, we don't have crystal ball and
Yeah,
billionaire, but
no,
we're securing in the middle of one of the worst energy situations we've had in quite a while. So it's like, we're kind of laying a bet down that this is gonna continue or worsen over the next 3 to 4 years. And I just don't know that that's necessarily true. Because their cost basis is directly related to,
and in the middle of 2028,
I mean, let's hope.
you're going into the.
That's the only thing that, and usually that's a good,
Presidential.
to buy energy.
Good point.
Usually that's a great time to do energy because everything's gonna,
Right, they're,
usually,
right,
but.
I mean, that should. Come into play, I would think.
Usually it does. I mean, we saw it this last series, it came down. Automatically.
So. At that point, is there a benefit to,
Beyond the 24, I'm not sure.
Neither.
not much
So the
of
cost savings between,
you just bank on?
The other thing we can do is, you can sign these contracts, whenever you want. So let's say we came back a year from now. And we just saw that things were not going in a great direction. We could say, you know what, we're good with extending do a 12-month contract on the back of this 24-month. So, you know, you could almost hedge it that way. At any point that we feel that conditions, maybe the price drops, you know, maybe, but we
We could add another year.
you can add another year anytime you want. You just can't, once you've done the 24, you can't undo that much, but you can tack on the next 12, or the next 24, whenever you think it's most feasible.
So. I don't see the benefit be going beyond 24.
What's the current contracted rate? Is that the 0.10380? That's what we're paying now.
It's, on the second page, it's 0.10611.
That's the current.
Wait a minute, where is it?
No,
Contracted.
that was the current rate when we contracted, so we saved,
Our pricing is below for you.
Yeah,
we
10,
saved 0.3 cents, now we're saving. Basically, they're showing us what the difference was in the rate when we signed the contract versus what the rate is today with the contracted price.
Gotcha.
So the top line, when we signed the contract, is that the standard rate was at 0.106, and we sold it at 0.103, so we saved 0.3 of a penny. Now we're saving 2.4 cents per kilowatt hour, is kind of what they're saying. So that's why our new rate is, if this is 0.127, our new rate is 0.1266, so they're still saying that they're contracting this below the standard rate that is being charged right now. Gotcha. So the 24 month is definitely,
right, so the 0.10380 is our contract price until December.
Right.
And then on the table, what they did is they showed if we didn't have that contract, what our average price would have been.
yeah,
And so in the summertime, the prices tends to be lower, in the wintertime, it spikes.
Right.
So the first row is in 2025, it says estimated 2025 usage, it's actually what it was. And that's the average price, because they were kind of the warmer weather months. And then the next row should say 2026.
Right.
You have the cold weather months, and then you have the warm weather months to date. But that average is 12.12721.
Right.
So it just shows that seasonality, you're gonna get a lower amount, and then you're gonna get the spike. And that's how they could calculate the savings off of what our contract is,
I mean,
so.
I would just think we'd go to the 24 months if we wanted to add another month. I mean, another year,
Then we can.
in a year or two from now, we just do that.
they like that in there with an option to extend after the first 12.
It's already given, we can extend it whenever, they'll give us another contract to tack onto this whenever we want. So we could actually look at it, in December, when this is just for the heck of it, we could look at it. But that's probably not a good time to look at it, because we wanna look at it a year from now.
Right.
We could just look at it a year from now and see if we wanna basically tack one more year on, and we're gonna have 24 months locked in.
Yeah,
Right. And
always stay 24 months.
Yeah.
That's fine.
all right. Greg, do you want to amend the motion of resolution 2658?
Yeah, so I'd like to amend resolution 2658, resolve the town council authorize the town manager to sign a power purchase contract for the town at a fixed price for 24 months for December 26th through December 28th.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions, concerns, comments from the audience? Amanda, yes.
We can also say to that conversation, when we're looking at 28 and all of that, we have a new state administration that's going to start too. So looking at it in the summer, once we know what those new administrative policies would be, I think is a good plan. I like the 24 months because of that reason.
Very good.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the audience? Any comments from the council? Hearing none, since we're ready to vote, all those in favor of resolution 2658 as amended, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, resolution 2658 passes. Moving on to resolution 2659, Nicole.
Resolved that the town council approve a special amusement license and a public exhibition license for the Maine Cheese Guild for the Maine Cheese Festival on September 13th, 2026.
Look for a motion from the council.
Make a motion that we adopt resolution 2659.
Second.
Moved and seconded. This is something we've done for the past 10 years? 11? I'm close. I gotta be close. Yeah, if you'd wanna speak to it real quick, yeah, that'd be great.
My name is Heather Donahue. I am standing now before you as a member of the Maine Cheese Guild, and I serve on the executive committee as treasurer this year. And I'm on the planning committee for the Maine Cheese Festival. We started in 2019 here in Pittsfield as our 10th annual, but we skipped a year in 2020 because of COVID. So it's our 10th annual, so that means we've been here 8 years. 7. It's our 7th year here in Pittsfield. So this is our annual license that we need to actually have the festival. This excludes the taste testing event later. But this basically just permits us to be in the park and have a gathering and be there. We have about 65 vendors, about 20 of them are cheesemakers. We have food trucks, music all day. We have a lot of really fantastic talks and demonstrations and a lot of kids activities this year. Department of Ag is going to bring the practice milking a cow demonstration, which is always fun.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Put that on the calendar.
Yes. Are there any questions from the audience regarding resolution 2659? Questions from the council? Hearing none, since we're ready to vote, all those in favor of resolution 2659, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it, resolution 2659 passes. Moving on to resolution 26.
Resolved that the town council approve a special taste testing event license for Brian's Brewing for the Maine Cheese Festival on September 13th, 2026.
Look for a motion from the council.
Make a motion that we adopt resolution 2660.
Second.
Moved and seconded. This is just to approve Brian's Brewing to be down at the Cheese Festival. Are there any questions?
I can clarify some things if you want.
Sure, go ahead. Yeah,
So
we'll take it.
at the Cheese Festival, we've always had an area for brewers and winemakers, mead, and spirits. It's licensed separately than the actual festival. The state of Maine, Bablo, has changed how the licensing is done. It has to be done through an actual producer first. So they're like the host at our festival, and then they get approved first, and then any additional producers that are going to be participating go through Bablo, and Bablo does all the screening for their licensing and all of that. So that's why it kind of looks a little bit different than it has in past years. And I thought it was going to be on tonight, but maybe it didn't get put in, Nicole, the Maine Tasting Center one.
I talked to the state about that. That's the catering. That's different.
So that's a catering permit that will come next meeting.
Doesn't have to.
Oh, it doesn't even have to.
No.
Okay. Perfect. Even better.
Is it taste testing only, or will you be able to purchase?
So the way we've set it up is it's taste testing only, and in past years, we have they changed the licensing, and I'm not completely sure they're still gonna allow that. We are under the assumption that they are still allowed to sell their full bottles and cans. But it cannot be consumed in the park.
Yeah.
What's consumed in the park, you buy a ticket or 10 or 6 or 3, and you get a little test of like a 1 or 2 ounce pour, depending on what it is, whether it's wine or beer. You get your little pours, you redeem your tickets, and you can get your little pours. There's not a limit on pours because it's not being served with food as a sit down kind of dinner thing. So
But then you find something you like and you can buy it to take
you
home.
find something, yeah, you taste it, you like it, you buy some, you take it home with you with your insulated bag of cheese too.
Perfect.
Yes.
Real quick, Babylon.
What's that?
Bureau of Alcohol Stuff with the state. I'm not sure what it is. We all just call it Babylon.
I think that's close.
It's the liquor licensing board for the state of Maine. I know that. Bureau of Licensing something. Beverages, something beverage, probably.
All right.
Bureau of
Awesome.
Alcoholic Beverages and Lottery Operations.
Lottery, yeah.
You didn't have that off the tip of your tongue? Come on. All right. Any questions from the audience? Questions from the council? Since we're ready to vote, all those in favor of resolution 2660, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it, resolution 2660 passes. Moving on to resolution 2661. Nicole.
Resolved that the town council approve a liquor license for Outland Farm Brewery at 404 Phillips Corner Road, 04967.
Look for a motion from the council.
Make a motion we adopt resolution 2661.
Second.
Moved and seconded. pretty self-explanatory. Liquor license for Outland, out on the Phillips Corner Road. Anybody in the audience have comments? Anyone from the council? Since we're ready to vote, all those in favor of 2661, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it, resolution 2661 passes. Alcohol always passes easy. Resolution 2662, Nicole.
Resolved that the town council direct a compliance review of the dangerous building order pertaining to 135 Main Street that was issued by the town council on February 17, 2026.
Look for a motion from the council,
Make a motion to adopt resolution 2662.
Second.
moved and seconded. Jack, you wanna give an update on this scenario? Or,
Yeah, it's just, it's the property at, 135 Main Street, the initial dangerous building order issued on February 17th. It's reappeared on the agenda several times since then. Most recently, the council, issued a deadline of August 1st to have, the roof, replaced and up to code and inspected, and that has not been completed. And so this is an opportunity to discuss the status of 135 Main Street.
alrighty. I don't know where we go from there. Do we have
Everybody have information.
any update from the owner of 135 Main Street? No, maybe.
Is there?
Can you hear us? Oop, hold on.
All right, I think we got it. We got the video started now. Yep, I submitted the plans back on July 30th to Jack and Russell that the engineers have submitted. I found somebody that can do the roof, but they can't do it until the end of August, probably the fourth week in August. They said it will only take a day or two because there's only a few panels there that are missing. And so it is scheduled, and I did submit the plans as you guys asked. And it will be getting completed at the end of August.
Yeah, do you have the roof under contract with somebody?
It's not a contract. I've hired them and they're going to replace those panels up there that are missing.
You don't have a contract when hiring?
Nope. These are actually going to be employees that are coming to work for the company.
Okay,
Good morning, Mr. Mayor. How long are you gonna keep fooling around with this guy? All he does is keep lying to you every meeting. You
Yeah.
guys accept it.
we're working on it,
Well, how long does it take to work on?
longer than you might think.
Longer than the right thing? What does your lawyer say about it?
We're talking,
That's why he's here.
this isn't open to public comment right now,
Oh, is
so,
it?
no, it's not.
All right, I'll wait till it is. then.
Thank you, appreciate that. Derek, do you have any advice for the council? How to proceed, what to go with? I don't know.
It is up to the council's purview. You can give him the extension to the end of August. You can petition the Superior Court here in the county to move forward with demolition, or you can issue a new order.
Is there anything that we can do for penalties for missing?
No, sir. You'd have to issue a new order.
If we issue a new order, we could set a date. That date is not it, we could install penalties at that.
And those penalties can be defined in that order?
Correct. Within that order, you would be able to do that. I'll research that to be absolutely certain, but you would not be able to issue an order today. You would require a new hearing.
Sure. What can we move forward with? I mean, We need some kind of certainty that that the roof is installed properly and inspected by like a licensed engineer, preferably the town's licensed engineer. Is that something that we can put in place?
You ever get the?
I mean, I guess this whole thing, what's
Did you
that?
ever get the inspection on the water? From the licensed plumber?
We did that,
We did.
yeah,
Yeah.
we did before the meeting was over. The water it's been turned on. Oh. Yeah, I don't really know which way to.
So if, in a scenario with a new hearing, would the new hearing be to consider demolition? Is that what you were?
It would be to either consider demolition or to add new provisions to the current order. It would be a new hearing to add new provisions to the order. You'd be starting basically at, again, with that to add in new things, and he would have another chance to appeal.
But didn't the original order, order that the roof be repaired?
Yes, it did. So if it, at this point, if he has not repaired the roof, you can move forward with petitioning to the Superior Court for the town to demolish it under the current order, or you can give him a moment to get that extension. By the time everything gets into court, he would probably have to the end of August anyway. He might be in compliance, but it is completely within the purview of the council.
But if he's not in compliance by that point, it's gonna be pretty much.
The suit would already be lodged within the Superior Court, yes.
Maybe we go forward with both. That way we're prepared if the end of August deadline isn't met and we haven't wasted more time. If he meets that deadline, then we can cease proceeding with the Superior Court, I'm sure. But we can at least get it started today, so we're not 30 more days behind by the end of August.
That is correct, Madam Council.
You could do everything via email, interim, right? And, if you were to draft a new order, we could do that and be prepared for the hearing for the next one. You just have to have 2 weeks, right? You would have to put out
No, you did.
Counselor, in this scenario, you would not be needing a hearing. You already have the ability after the appeal right is already done to lodge the complaint for the demolition.
No, I'm sorry, and I probably didn't say that quite very well. If we go both directions, so if we start the proceedings, would we also consider drafting a new order in case he complied before we? Or is this kind of like we gotta make a decision?
Well, this is under
Working.
This is under the existing order already.
Understood, so we can take that action, but to the council's point, we're not gonna see any benefit of that until when he's telling us he's gonna be done.
So you're proposing that we draft the new order simultaneously
I think that's what
to all of this?
Natalia was saying, and I was kind of
Just
wondering.
get the both tracks going now, so we're prepared either way.
But to draft a new order and vote on it, we have to have another meeting between now and
That is correct.
whenever.
That is correct.
So we did,
Okay.
which is fine, yeah, we can have a special meeting strictly for that. We don't need any kind of long notice or anything like that for a new order.
Mr. Reardon would need to be afforded a time to have notice and opportunity to be able to appear. I do not know if there's a statutory provision off the top of my head for that. If I could,
So like in 2 weeks, we
I could get sheriff's service out for tomorrow for a new hearing day.
And then, yeah, I mean,
And I've retained Dan Bernier out of Waterville. He's going to be handling this for me.
Okay, thank you.
okay,
Demolition of 135,
yeah,
which would be the next step.
potentially, yeah.
Potentially, is
Yeah.
that, do we want that?
An unsafe building with no
Okay.
one that's,
Well, all I'm asking is, or is it possible we're painting ourselves into a corner as a town to where we're going to have to execute a demolition, spend a bunch of money on something that we don't wanna do. At a time we don't wanna do. That's my only question.
I don't think you have enough, I mean, I guess the town could. Could do all of the repair work to make it a safe building. And then charge the owner for those repairs.
My understanding of the statute is that, no, it would be for the demolition, but I can.
Demolition only?
I can research that, but I don't think that you can do a repair and then force that upon the owner.
If it's
But
unsafe
you
and the
can't
owner
make it-
isn't taking the steps to make it safe.
You can
I
only bring it
thought
up,
we could,
you can only bring it up to the point which makes it safe.
that's what I'm saying.
I just think that, but then we assume some liability for the repairs too. Right, we carry that liability for a
Probably.
period of time.
I mean, there's,
I think if we're gonna do that, if, to Nick's point, if we wanna maintain the building, we want it to be part of the downtown, if that's part of the vision, right? Which I kind of think it probably is, right?
it is
Historically,
ideally,
it's part of it.
ideally,
Then really, probably the best path forward is the new order with a series of escalating fees and penalties for not meeting the deadlines that we set. Which would provide all the fuel needed to accelerate the process.
right. But
And that puts no liability on us. The owner of the building assumes all responsibility at that point, and if he defaults on that, then we should be able to through.
right, and if that doesn't accelerate things,
Could default on
I mean, you would have, yeah, I'm just worried like. December rolls around, the roof's still open. All other things hadn't really worked, you know,
The tricky-
it's a shared wall.
The tricky thing about
It's a
that
shared
building
wall.
is that it's right next to other businesses that are operating or want to operate, so there's risk.
And it's not just that, it's a shared wall. That wall is. The theater's wall.
Right.
They have a common wall. The theater, if you demoed that building, the theater wouldn't have an exterior wall. That building's wall is the theater's exterior wall.
Right.
And that's the same scenario for Kleinschmidt. You know, which both Kleinschmidt and 135 Main are the exterior walls to the theater. So
That's all.
I worry about in December if this hasn't gone anywhere. Then we're in the position of, okay, now we're demoing in December or secure, like, well, how can we secure the building to ensure that the theater is not adversely affected by him being neglect on his building? Like it's very different than just a random building that you wanna go and demo. Like you have to ensure that structural integrity for the theater is intact.
That's
In a
correct.
roundabout way, so,
That is a highly unique situation.
Right.
The theater would have a cause of action. Should anything come up, if their building is damaged, they would have a cause of action against their adjacent neighbor.
Gotcha. Is there anything that we can put in there for seizure if that's not?
no, I doubt that.
I don't think so.
I'm
No.
done.
Did in our last, in our last order, did we? If August came and went, what was there, did we put in that the town was gonna have an engineer inspect the building, or
I do not have
did we
that,
have any provision? I
I do not have that.
feel like we had this conversation, we should have had. that.
I do not have the minutes from the last compliance review in front of me to be able to cite that for you.
We already had an engineer inspect the building and he said there's no dangerous conditions.
Yeah, that's not true, but that's okay.
There. There wasn't
Okay.
like a follow-up.
Alright,
Specified.
alright, so we can do this simultaneously, and you'll find out when we can have a special meeting for the next order. That will have,
I will have a count.
Full extent of-
tomorrow.
Yep, send that notice of the hearing over to Dan Bernier, please. He's gonna be there.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
sounds good. Alright, so this is no action? Or proceed, well, I guess it's action proceeding to Superior Court.
Do I?
Basically to proceed with simultaneous actions.
Okay,
Of. Whether you want to articulate those again for the minutes, do you have that, Nicole, or proceeding with two simultaneous?
before you do that, does anybody in the audience have comments regarding this resolution? Michael, yes,
Yes,
please,
I do, of course.
thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So given the topic we had before about the theater, this was part of the whole project. The discussion was then of tearing down the theater, potential tearing down theater. That should be one of the last topics you guys should be talking about.
Right.
Gentlemen and ladies, that should not have been an option on the table tonight. I don't know who this gentleman is. Has he given you, this all rhetorical questions? Has he given you a schedule? Has he given you a plan of action? Has he given you any reports of the supposed engineers, report on that? Has he given you a scope of work? He says just a couple panels in a couple days done. I have a hard time swallowing that. I don't know this gentleman. It's probably true, and I've seen a little bit of it. I'm not the expert here.
Sure.
But my initial reaction is, it's a sticky wicket this town does not want to stick their feet into. Give him the opportunity to do so, and I know he passed that date to get it done. So I immediately question what his plan of attack is. Demand something in writing. What is your schedule? When are you gonna start? And don't say maybe by the end of August. You give us a day.
Right,
At this day, that's when this gentleman, you'll let loose the hounds of war. That's when you need to take the next step, but taking ownership, taking liability, fixing it and hoping to sell it, that is nothing the town wants to do. For the very fact that you all have mentioned that, it shares walls.
right,
And that's the discussion we had when the theater was up, several years ago.
sure,
This is a sore spot on Main Street, and I appreciate what you're trying to do here, but that is something you need to keep arm's length away and put the pressure on this gentleman. I mean, if he's a professional, he says he is, he needs to do this. I mean, he says, I have a report. Where is it? I have a schedule. Where is it? I have guys. Where are they?
right.
That needs to be defined, and you have every right to define that. You have a responsibility to have them define that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Michael, appreciate it.
If you can respond to that.
Yeah, I mean, so. You
You
can,
want to?
I mean, yeah, we did get a report at one point and we have that report. Obviously, this path moving forward, we are gonna be very detailed and very defined in dates and dollar amounts and plans and all those different things. I think an important aspect to that is the repair of the roof needs to be signed off by a structural engineer from the town. It doesn't, we want the town engineer signing off on that. So that we have some assurance that it's done and done right, not,
So.
you know, so, go ahead.
To the point of the schedule, we set the schedule back in June. For the repairs and kind of put a detailed schedule in to be approved by Russell. And any professional that he needed to assist with that, inspection.
right,
This is the second date that's been completely disregarded and basically kind of flipped off at, right? So we're kind of getting the middle finger. So that's why my thought is really the best course of action is to put money involved, right? Because usually people listen to money and especially what's coming out of their pocket pretty quick. So I think if we're gonna do this, we're gonna put the dates in, to your point, be very specific. And the penalties need to be severe, right? They need to
Right.
be
significant,
Significant.
but within.
I agree 100%. I just wanted to, you're talking about demolition of the building, you're talking
No,
about
no.
responsibility, liability, that you need to run away from that as fast as you possibly can.
Right.
Today's point, that's not, I don't think. we're-
That's not our, certainly not our.
No, I understand that. I just wanna throw caution on it. If,
Yeah.
I just,
One of the courses of action, but
you
not ours.
guys know how I approach
Right.
things. I just wanna.
And this, so this has. So this originated back in February. We tried to accommodate and appease and move forward. And work with the owner. To get an outcome that everybody was happy with, a lot of dates, several dates, not just two, many dates have come and gone and whatnot, but
Yep.
you know,
Understood.
things have changed now and we'll handle things differently in the next order and path forward.
I think you're doing the right thing. Thank you so very much for the time.
Yes, sir. Yeah, sir, go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, so
Yeah, can you come up here and,
can
say,
you set the fine?
yes, to an extent, I think, right? We can set
Can you
the,
fine him $1,000 a day?
we're gonna do, everything we're allowed to by the court of law. It's, and we're very serious about it, so,
I think.
so yes,
Enough is enough, this guy
That's
has
right.
pulled the wool over your eyes.
well,
You know, building across the street that shouldn't even be occupied.
Clown, the rodeo clown.
No, but-
I'm pulling the wool over his eyes.
Sir, can you let the man speak? Thank you. You can mute him if you want. Go ahead, sir. Yes,
So
no,
I hate to see you just sit here and just do nothing to him. and
we're certainly
he's
not,
Just laughing at you.
well, that may be the case, but you know, we're not getting the wool pulled over our eyes by any means.
Okay.
We're just trying to do things the most,
You're just trying to be nice.
well, we were trying to do things the most diplomatic way possible, and you know, that only gets us so far, so now
That's right.
we'll go a different route.
Thank you.
Anyway, thank you very much.
Speak.
Yeah, sure.
I'm representing Klein Schmidt.
And you
The
can
building
say your
is-
name and,
My name's Renee Qua, I represent Klein Schmidt. So my biggest concern is our building on the other side of the movie theater. So as you said, we share a wall. So the trusses that are on top of the movie theater roof are bolted into the Klein Schmidt wall and this gentleman's wall.
correct,
If something should happen, not that it's going to, but if something should happen and that truss releases from his wall,
right,
I would prefer it not pull the other truss out that's connected to our wall.
and holding up the theater's roof as well.
So that's going to
That is-
really be a problem with Main Street
That's right,
in Pittsfield.
that's right,
Another option that I've considered, if a roof doesn't get placed on there by the end of the month of August, it could be possible to bring the building down to the movie theater's roof line and put a roof to
Right.
protect everyone. Just a thought.
right. Certainly another option. Take a
Just-
lot more,
Just wanted to speak.
thought, no, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. And I guess to that point, Derek and council, the engineering inspection that Mr. Reardon had done, I don't think addressed those trusses, because maybe he didn't know they were there, maybe he didn't know his building was holding up all those other buildings. But I would push for in this new ordinance that whole truss system tied into his building gets inspected, because his building could adversely affect everybody else. Some kind of language around the inspection of those and the integrity of that wall and those trusses. To ensure that everybody, you know, Feinschmidt's about to invest $100,000 in their wall to ensure that it's not going anywhere. And everybody else is gonna be fine because they've done the right stuff. I'm worried about the other side of that, so that should be a high priority, and that can take, that's irrelevant to the roof. Because it's something that the structural engineer never inspected, it's not in that report. Didn't say that they checked off, that they verified it was good, so I think that's a side note. But, I mean, I guess legally, if it came crashing down, you know, it's his responsibility anyway. But, yeah, go ahead.
So just kind of thinking about all this. Do we even go down the route of the demolition? I don't even, why are we even filing papers? Why would we do simultaneous? Why would we just go down the new ordinance and put all our kind of eggs in that basket? Because there are fees associated with that, right? So we are spending some money on a thing that we're kind of really hoping not to do.
Okay,
Just kind of thinking about that,
I mean, it's ultimately not, well, yeah, we don't want that.
The end goal
For Main
is, the end goal is in the new ordinance to be written the same clause, right? So we can still end at that same,
Right.
I just don't know that we need to go down that way now. I think that the way forward is probably the new ordinance with the fees, which is really. You know, everybody says carrot on stick, I say carrot or the stick, right? This is the stick, I guess. So. Carrots dangle long enough and it's a stick,
So then it's a dangerous building, what happens if it doesn't get repaired?
what we end up right back here and we go through with then we go through with the demolition, it has to, right? If we can't do anything else.
I feel like I feel like. That's one of the options we have, unfortunately. We might end up there, why would we delay?
Because,
Based on what we've seen up to now.
well, I think,
Because I think if we draft, I'm just thinking if we draft a new ordinance and we approve it. That would almost. Contradict. The destruction portion, right? The tear down, it would,
You're doing two actions in the alternative of one another. So
so we would
we're
have
asking
to,
for one thing or in the alternative for this to happen.
so we wouldn't have to wait for the approval again, we would already have it under the original ordinance.
That's correct, order,
Yeah,
yeah, that is
yeah, sorry,
correct.
order.
The request to demo under the original order, yes.
Yes.
Or in the alternative, you're seeking new provisions under a new dangerous building order.
If the building maintains as a dangerous building, we're required to tear it down. Correct? Ultimately?
If it is not mitigated by the owner, yes.
Right. So if this isn't taken care of, based on our history, I don't have a lot of confidence that it's going to be remedied. I hope it is, but I'm not confident that it will be. And if it's not, then we've wasted even more time getting to the end result.
In the new order. I'm not disagreeing with you, I'm just asking questions going on the next path. In the new order, are we able to put the provision in that the town would oversee? To Jason's point a minute ago, the construction, the repair, to the point of safe. And those costs, in addition to any fees for him not completing that order would be assessed.
Yes,
And then would that fall into the same piece that I think we talked about that if they didn't take care of the portion, if they didn't pay for the destruction, that almost became like assessed as a tax. And then can't go through the foreclosure process where the town can then take ownership of it in that piece, and we would have a safe building. So that's why I'm almost thinking that's more our better thing, because our end result is to maintain the building.
Right.
So we would just avoid that whole court piece and whatever costs are associated with that, because we really want that to end.
Yeah, so whatever costs we have in this process.
Yeah.
To its resolution, we can then assess a special tax, and that will be, we'll go against the property, it will have to be paid by the owner, or it'll go through lien or foreclosure if it's not.
right. So all that, to your point, just needs to be very well defined in the new order.
That's what I'm thinking, that's what I was thinking,
And-
Yeah.
yes, it delays us a little bit, but.
Ultimately, it is better for our downtown
Preserves the structure.
if
It
that all,
becomes our burden again, but,
it's gonna be our burden one way or another.
right.
Whether it's,
What's our cost for an inspection?
or it could be.
What's out from our engineering firm? What was the cost of the inspection on
Somerset Ave.
Somerset Ave? Russell, do you guys have that?
It was relatively minimal because it was a
Pretty standard structure.
yeah, and it wasn't it's a lengthy. It didn't take a relatively long period of time to do that.
Easily identified as.
It was pretty easy to identify that. But we'd be. To whatever, depending on whatever level of engineering assessment we were to do on that building, I would expect it to range. It could exceed $5,000, could be between $5,000 and $10,000, depending on the level of detail we need from an engineering assessment, basically getting into structural details.
Yep. Think that's,
But again, that would be part of a special tax that we would levy onto the property, as we at some point conclude the process.
I mean, I guess my thought on that was, do we just do that up front? And that's part of this new order, that we get our person there immediately, because do we even go down any part of this road? I mean, we can still set all the deadlines,
right,
but we can also hit the first exit ramp, right? If our engineer says absolutely not, you're going down crazy path.
yeah, make that the first order, make that the first thing.
I think I'd be more comfortable with that than putting the money towards the proceedings now. I think I'd rather see that money go towards the engineer.
Yeah, I
right?
can get on board with that for sure. Yep,
Let's roll with that.
yeah.
Single pass,
Single pass,
straight line.
fast,
Yeah.
and accelerated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, do we even,
You don't have to specify.
Do we need to do-
Said take action, which we did.
our action is to develop a new order and. So forth.
Derek, how do we wrap up the conversation as far as the record in the minutes? The item on the agenda is a compliance review.
Still out of compliance.
The council would need to make a final, still out of compliance, and that you would like to conduct a new public hearing to establish new parameters for remediation of the building.
Yes, I amend the resolution. Right?
Yep, let's state that we
Yeah.
find the building still out of compliance. Now we want to move forward with another public hearing.
Alright, so. I'd like to amend resolution 26.2
2662.
or 2662, sorry.
Oh, good.
2662. With the following action, so. Resolve the town council. Complete the compliance review. Dangerous building order pertaining on 35 Main Street was issued by town council on February 26th. To contain a new order. And subsequent public hearing to be scheduled at the next available time.
And that the council
And then the council
finds this,
finds this.
finds it out of
Out of
compliance.
compliance, yep. Yeah. Something messy, but yes,
Second, I got it.
perfect, thank you. Want to repeat it?
You're good. All those in favor of modified resolution 2662, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it, resolution 2662 passes as amended. That was painful. And thankfully, we're moving forward. Resolution 2663.
So the town council signed the warrant and notice of election to call the MSAD 53 referendum to be voted on September 15, 2026.
What's the motion from the council?
Motion to adopt resolution 2663.
Second.
Moved and seconded, so this is pretty self-explanatory. Just to move that to a referendum vote, September 15th. Are there any questions from the audience? Questions from the council? Since we're ready to vote, all those in favor of resolution 2663, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it, resolution 2663 passes. Moving on to resolution 2664. Nicole.
Not that the town council approve changes in its plan for its eligible union police officers effective September 1st, 2026 as follows. The town agrees to adopt special plan TC for its current and former union police officers who get work more than 10 hours a week and who are not seasonal or temporary effective September 1st, 2026 for all service to the town as a union police officer during the period from January 1st, 2023 through August 31st, 2026. And to adopt special plan 2C for its union police officers employed on September 1st, 2026. Or hired after who regularly work more than 20 hours per week and who are not seasonal or temporary. For service accrued after August 31st, 2026. And to remit payment for the additional liability to the plan for this change in the amount of $242,787 to main PERS by establishing an initial unpooled unfunded actual liability of $242,787 to be amortized over a period of 14 years and 10 months by making monthly payments of $2,031 beginning in September 2026. And to authorize the town manager to establish an alternate payment arrangement with main PERS to reduce the interest costs to the town during upcoming budget cycles. And to continue to provide regular plan AN to its non-union police officers. And to all other employees who regularly work more than 20 hours per week and who are not seasonal or temporary. And to continue to exclude employees who regularly work 20 hours per week or less. And who are seasonal or temporary employees and its elected officials from participating in the plan. And to authorize the town manager to sign the amended agreement between the town and the main public employees retirement system.
Look for a motion from the council.
Make a motion that we adopt resolution 2664.
Moved in second.
Oh, glass of water.
Yeah,
Perfect.
thank you for reading that. Sorry that.
If you get that quick.
Yeah. Yeah, I was,
Okay.
yeah, no, that's my bad. Jack, do you want to speak to this, Cliff Note version for
Yeah, just to recap, so
everybody?
the police union collective bargaining agreement that was put into effect January 1st, 2023 through December 31st or June December 31st,
Like
2020. Oh,
There you go, January 1st, 2023 to August 31st, 2026.
The agreement that was effective January 1st, 2023, that's.
Yeah.
That's the
Right.
key date. That agreement that began January 1st, 2023, contained a provision where the town was to move the union members over to a different retirement system plan from the plan that they were in prior to that. And it only came to our attention in June of this year, June of 2026, that had never been done. And it was overdue, long overdue to be done. And so that resulted in a formality from the union to file a grievance to officially notify us that we hadn't done something we agreed to and needed to, proceed on a path to remedy that. And so we reached out to main PERS to get, an understanding of what's the process to move those union members over to the new plan. And they had to run actuarials to see basically what the past amounts would be for the town to contribute, over a period of time to basically make everything whole with the employees in the plan. And so we tried to expedite this as fast as we could because time just accumulates cost in terms of getting this fixed. So what we have is a resolution that would allow us to get everything converted starting September 1st, 2026. And the feasible way for us to address cost is to just do it over the amortization period of monthly payments. We actually do have the budget capacity to handle monthly payments because we do budget for our payroll liabilities. And while this wasn't foreseen specifically, we did try to foresee that, if we are faced with payroll liabilities, that we'd have some means to address them. So this is a good example of having some means to address them. It's just going to be an extended amount of time to continue on. And so it's kind of where we are.
All right. Any questions from the audience regarding resolution 2664? Heather,
So
yes,
this is basically almost $250,000 of unfunded payroll
yeah,
liability.
pretty much. Another gift from Catherine Ruth. It's a gift that keeps on giving. But that's how that goes. Any other comments? Any comments from the council? Hearing none, since we're ready to vote, all those in favor of resolution 2664, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, resolution 2664 passes. Moving on to discussion items. Public comments. Any public comments tonight? Yeah, go ahead, sir. All right, Amanda?
Amanda Collmore, Library Street, I'm only here in my role as a citizen,
Yep.
not in the other role.
You got it.
And I just wanted to say how excited I am for the Cheese Festival come back. I look forward to it every single year. I love volunteering at it. I've already registered as a volunteer. I'm super excited and I'm really grateful that you all have approved that and approved the liquor license for Outland, who hopefully will be opening soon because I
Yes.
miss them so much.
Yes, very much.
So thank you for all of the work you guys have been doing on everything and I appreciate it.
Let's go together and get it done.
Thank you, Amanda.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's great.
Any other comments, sir?
Yes,
Yeah. State your name and where you live.
I'm right. I live in Pittsfield.
All righty.
I appreciate, everything that you folks do. I've been in your position years ago. I don't envy you one single bit. However, I have some concerns. As I stated earlier in the meeting, when did you start letting the audience talk during your meetings?
As long as I've been on council for 6 years.
Decades,
Yeah.
Decades?
at least 20 years,
Well, I would like to find out why and when you voted to do that.
democracy.
Democracy,
People have a right to speak,
I mean,
just as you do now, people have a right to speak on every topic.
okay, but that's why you have hearings. Right?
Okay.
When did you stop having your hearings so the public could have the input?
We-
So that when the item came to you on the agenda, only the council could speak. That's what I would like to know. Cause that wastes a lot of your time when everybody gets up and speaks it.
Well, honestly, there's usually nobody in the audience, so
It's usually not a problem.
it goes quite quickly, but, I mean, I'm not gonna tell a resident that they can't speak to me or speak to the council.
Okay,
I wanna hear the concerns, I wanna hear the comments,
I know, but it.
not every one of these things,
The meeting is supposed to be run a certain way.
yeah,
That's the way it should be run, not because you wanna hear everybody. If it's supposed to be run, once you make a motion on the floor and it's seconded. The only people that can talk about that are you folks.
okay, well,
No audience participation. Okay, that's the way it's supposed to be,
okay,
okay? And, I know you don't care. So,
Um,
I'm old and.
well, we do care, and if,
Things are different, right? But I would like to share with you some interesting facts that you probably don't know about. I live on the Spring Road. And Mr. Mayor, how many cars do you think come from the Hatland Avenue side coming to Somerset Avenue? And how many cars from Pittsfield go to Hatland Avenue? How many cars would you think might?
using the Spring Road,
Yeah, a week,
oh, we, probably 1,000,
1,000.
that's a guess, I don't know.
Okay, well, I'd just like to share.
Maybe I'm a little, pretty high, I think,
You think you're pretty high?
yeah, maybe 700.
Well, would you
100
believe
a day.
3,800?
Hmm. That's quite a bit, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's a bypass road.
That is the average,
All right,
okay? 2 weeks before the 4th of July, there were 5,800 cars. that went through in a week.
Okay,
And even if you take the 3,800 cars, that's 200,000 cars a year. That are not coming into Pittsfield,
yeah,
right? Imagine how much money the businesses lose. Just think about that. And it's all because of Google, Waze, or whatever they're using for directions.
mhm,
And it's costing the town money. Back in 1970, the town, it was the first council, like Susie was mayor, made an agreement that, with the state, that the state would put 18 inches of gravel from Somerset Avenue to the state garage, if the town would pay it. And it happened, but Mr. Susie took it back to the council and they approved it, and so that's a good solid road. Okay? To there, but from then on out, again, all the way through, it's not built like that first section. There are also, in a week's time, 195 tractor trailers. 195 in a week. And you
Okay.
say, well, so what? Well, we have a sign, you have a sign at the end of the spring road, 10-ton road limit. 10-ton. Well, you know, a pickup truck with a trailer on the back is 10-ton. And we allow that to go on every single day. Okay,
mhm,
Palmyra's got the same thing on their end. Pittsfield, we don't even have a speed limit sign. In fact, we don't even have a curb sign. Okay, until you get down to that real sharp corner. Where Mr. Sally owns on the left-hand side and the log side. But guess what? You can't see it because it's all buried in the trees. So, but we don't have a speed limit sign. We have a speed limit sign on the Madawaska Road, 35 miles an hour. Okay?
Yep.
Is it possible to get a speed limit sign, 35 miles an hour for that road? The spring road?
I am sure it is, yep, I think
Is it?
I'm sure that's
Okay.
possible if one doesn't exist.
And is it possible to? Well, back in 1970, there were 2 police cars. 2 police officers. Okay. Today, I'm not sure how many we have, but if I had to guess, of what I see parked out here in your parking lot, I would guess 6. Police cruisers,
Yep,
okay? And the town used to have 4,200 residents. And guess what? Today you only have 3,880. That's 5,000 residents drop. And when we had 4,200 residents, we had 2 police officers. 2. That's it. We used to have a dispatcher upstairs. So you could talk to a real person when you needed the police. Don't have that today. You have to call 911, 211, whatever it is. And then nobody around to get to you,
sure,
okay? So I guess what I'm saying is, how do we change that? How do we get the faith back in the citizens of Pittsfield that we do have 6 police cruisers? And I'm assuming 6 police officers, probably more than that if we get 6 cruisers.
I think that faith has started tonight when we swore in Bernie Burnett as the new police chief. And that'll help,
Yeah, okay.
and he is well aware, and I'm positive if you go talk to him, that he will look into your concerns and address them as he
I don't
can.
wanna talk to him, I'm talking to you in the.
Well, I understand that, I mean, I'm not gonna go, install a speed limit sign tonight, but
I understand that,
But
but if you install one, that would be great.
that's what, yeah.
Yes.
So, yes, these things can be addressed. Jack has taken note of a few of those issues,
Okay, I think that's.
and these can certainly,
Yeah, okay, that's good, and, but I thought that was interesting. 3,800 cars in a week
yeah, that's surprising.
that we miss coming into Pittsfield. You know, they don't go to Rainey's, they don't get gas. And they don't go to the shop, people that just bought the shopping center. You know, they don't shop at the shopping center. We don't have much downtown for them to shop at. And I'll just share one crazy thing with you. When I was a young fellow growing up in this community, there were 33 businesses on Main Street. 33 businesses on Main Street. If you can imagine. Okay, you guys, you folks are too young. See back then, but there were 33 businesses. And how many do we have today?
Much less.
Much less? Yes, I guess. Much less, right?
Yeah,
And it is sad, because I used to say there isn't a better community in the state of Maine to raise a family. And I'd like to think that it was still that way today. And so everybody tells me that well, the police can only do so much because when they arrest somebody, they take them to Skowhegan. And whoever they arrested is back in Pittsfield before they are. Is that true?
I mean, that could potentially be true. I don't know the facts of some of those scenarios, but
That's pretty serious. I mean, we need to address that with the legislature.
that's
If
right.
that's the case,
Yep, certainly.
don't you think?
Matters who you vote
I
for.
would certainly think that a legislator might be able to help you out,
Yep,
okay, instead of,
yeah,
but that's pretty sad. When they get to Skowhegan, back, okay, you have that court case, and they're back in Pittsfield before your police officer. Pretty sad.
well,
So the police don't stand a chance.
I mean, that's above this council and, above,
No, it doesn't. You have somebody sitting right here.
well, and that's,
That,
He's very
It-
helpful to us, really.
that you need to put the pressure to and say, help us out.
well, it matters, Go out and vote.
Have I said enough yet? Thank you.
Yep,
I enjoyed the meeting.
Yep.
I hope you, do something to that guy that trying to pull the wool over your eyes.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Go ahead now, please.
I wanna thank you for supporting the Maine Cheese Festival again as we bring this premier dairy event to Pittsfield. I do have a request.
Yep.
At different meetings, we've talked about possibly putting a banner up at the Welcome to Pittsfield sign that says Home of the Maine Cheese Festival. Like we said earlier, it's our 7th year hosting it here. We hope to continue to do that and grow it in years to come. So that is a request that I would make, that we'd be allowed to generate some banners or a hard sign that could be mounted onto those Welcome to Pittsfield signs. One in Keenan line. There one up on the hospital or just down in
Hmm,
the one by Rennie's, the two
Yeah.
there. Was there one up by the hospital?
I think.
No, there's a rotary
I
sign.
think maybe, now that you say that, but I can't.
We've talked about putting one there because it's the
Sure.
main line coming down from
I don't think there is.
It
But,
just says Pittsfield
Okay.
Town.
well, at
Yeah.
least 2 of them then.
Right,
But anyway, I would make that request and you guys can talk about it or do it at the next meeting or whatever, but we'd love to be able to like say that we're gonna be here. And then, I appreciate the comments of the gentleman before, and I wanna speak to support for the council in the style of the meetings and allowing public input opportunity before the council makes decisions. I think it's really important that as counselors, you are hearing from people on this side of the table, because there are people in the audience that have valuable things to say, like historical things that we might not know about. And having been on both sides of this podium, when I was sitting in those seats and as mayor, I found great value in what people were bringing to the council. So I want to encourage you to keep doing that. I think it's a great way to democratically hold the meeting. And then thirdly, I think that there are some ways that you could improve communications with residents. Having the meetings recorded and posted to YouTube are great. I was able to go back and find information and background on things. But it's really difficult when all of the things are titled Pittsfield Meeting Room or Pittsfield, Town of Pittsfield Video or something like that. There's no
Sure.
title, date, like council meeting or this or that.
Yep.
And within the descriptions of those, the agenda should be linked, the minutes should be linked. Any relevant documents that were discussed should be linked to make it easier for people to find information and participate in a full way to be part of town.
Excellent.
Those would be my suggestions.
No, those are
Quick
great.
and easy ways to do it. And thank you for your time tonight. Thank you for reading.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it. It was a,
Just to comment on that, so, and I noticed that too early on, and so I titled the Zoom meetings. Town council meeting, just because to differentiate between the planning board. When I create the live stream, YouTube gives it the generic, changes the name that I put in. So I would need to remember, and I can try to remember, when I start the live stream, to go in and change the name in real time as we're starting the meeting. So that's the only way I know of to fix that.
Do you program the live streams ahead of time to start at a certain time, or are you going in now?
I go in and start the live stream once we're ready to start the
Okay.
meeting, so I do that right here. And all the meeting materials stay on the website pretty much forever.
Mhm.
So, anybody could research if they're watching a meeting from, September 2024. It should be quick and easy to find all those meeting materials on the website. I don't know how to link them to YouTube exactly, but it's pretty user friendly to go in and find meeting materials on our agendas.
So when you go in and you open a meeting material, it opens it in a PDF. And you can just take that URL from the PDF and then link that and just say
as a
agenda with a
comment
link
or something.
as a comment. Yeah.
Agenda and comments, and then your first comment is your agenda.
Yeah, you gotta do it in YouTube Studio though, not in like YouTube proper.
We can work on our media presence and some of that stuff. It is a pain. I've gone back and tried to
Yeah,
find.
it's like, where did that
Like,
happen?
well, that's good. They're all town of Pittsfield meetings. I don't know. Pick one. But no, it's good feedback and we can certainly make some adjustments, I'm sure. Michael,
Don't look over there, you know I have my hand up.
well, it was down and I was hoping it just wouldn't.
No, you're not getting away that easy, thank you, Mr. Mayor, I'm only up here because I wanna be on TV.
Yeah, I know.
I'll get to you.
Better you than.
So I just have a few observations, couple of questions. I see that in 2.5 years, like a lot of the similar and same stressors. So observation, want to share a quick question. Is Pittsfield doing surveying out on the Pondview, Sibley Pond? Pondview Court? Okay, they were up there today, I was just curious, okay. Also about Sibley Pond, your predecessor, Jack Kluge, my name's Michael Jinkat, pleased to meet you, sir. Finally get to meet the new town manager. Your predecessor, Jacob Graham, said he was gonna set up a sign showing that ATVs can drive up and down Sibley Pond Road. That's still not been put up. I know what my neighbor has asked Donnie about, I know everyone's busy. So if that's something you can kind of throw on the list when everything else is done, just throw one up there, be appreciated. Not for me, it'd be fam, I just be riding my tractor up and down. So how'd I do? All right,
Perfect.
I was warned, chastised, talked to before the meeting, I found it quite humorous. Yeah, although you're not one of the stresses I was talking about. Almost. So anyway, and seriously, and I know it's been said already, I know what you ladies and gentlemen do. I know what how thankless it can be. I know the time that's involved with it. So, and I've said this many times before, and I always greatly appreciate what folks do. Greatly appreciate giving up your time. You guys aren't getting paid. Did you put that back in the budget?
No,
not
took it
getting
back out.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That made me happy. Thank
We're
you.
broke.
So I appreciate doing the volunteer. I mean, I see, several people return and it's tough. It's a thankless job. It's something that's very difficult because you're covering all aspects. So I just want to take this moment to thank you all very much for what you do. It is appreciated. And as to close, I just want to show my appreciation to the respect that the town council gives to the town, and you keep your focus where it is. It's people in the audience, it's your neighbors, it's the businesses in town. So it's easy to sit here and discuss within these four walls, and please don't, I'm not preaching at all. To understand, okay, we made this decision, but you gotta think past these four walls, and you all have done that. And you all still do, and I hope to continue to do that, so thank you very much for that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, appreciate it, thank you, council.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Any other comments from the audience?
No, we should end on that, that was good.
Yeah. Yeah. Council, Pete.
Just one comment, I just wanted to thank those responsible for the Pittsfield Festival that pulled that together. Hopefully it continues and grows. My grandchildren thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thanks, Pete.
Okay.
Greg, no comment. Nate, no comment. Natalia.
Yeah, the festival was amazing. It was outstanding. My kids had the time of their lives. I couldn't stop talking about it. The fireworks blew me away. I don't know who put that together. So impressed. Truly enjoyed it. The whole town enjoyed that. So thank you to the committee. Just want to say for the record, I think the way these meetings run is working really well. I think we have a strong council, and I just want the council to hear that from me and the folks in the audience and listening online to hear that from me. I think that we run this ship quite efficiently. We're a group of community members who really care. And what I can guarantee you is that we prepare before we show up, which is why we're able to run as efficiently and smoothly as we can. We're action oriented. You see Jack taking notes the entire time. What we talk about and decide on today, he gets to work on tomorrow. I wouldn't change a thing. I like hearing from the public because sometimes it helps me reconsider my thought. Maybe it adds an idea or adds information to what I had put together myself. So I appreciate it. I also appreciate when people keep it efficient, on track, so we can be productive, get in and out. I think overall, I appreciate the way we're doing things, and that's all for me. Thank you.
Excellent. And I will close with the same sentiment that everybody else had with the community festival was fantastic. It felt like the old egg festival. Obviously, I'm sure it was a challenge. First year they've done it, they haven't done it in a long time. But overall, I mean, I thought it was fantastic. There was local vendors, there was rides for kids. Like Natalia said, there were teenagers that loved it, there were little kids that loved it, everyone in between. You know, it's not really for, me and whoever, but there was stuff there for all of us. So I think it was fantastic, and it's gonna grow and be better. Looking forward to the cheese festival. I know everybody looks forward to that. So that is another exciting thing happening in town. Obviously, Outland, very much so looking forward to them being back and serving their great food and the things that they're doing out at their farm. And, I'm not a professional speaker or a professional of running meetings, but I try to be respectful and try to listen to anybody and everybody that wants to speak. And I don't like to cut people off. I don't like to speak over them or belittle them or anything like that. So everybody that speaks, I respect and I like to listen to, and I want to hear from you. I might not have the answer and I might not say the right thing at the right moment. But that's just the way it is. So I really appreciate people showing up and voicing their concerns. I have seen, lately, a lot of people on the Pittsfield's Facebook pages, having concerns about different things, please come here and speak to us or speak to us anywhere. We're certainly happy to talk about any concerns you might have. I know that the transfer station's been a hot button topic lately. We're doing the best we can. Obviously, increases are happening everywhere. We did keep the town's tax budget flat. So yes, the transfer station may have increased a little bit, but everything else stayed flat. And so there's gives and takes to everything. We're always obviously looking to improve, and if you have suggestions, we're happy to consider them. And Jack is great at, hey, we got an idea, can you run this to Graham? And he'll go and he'll run the numbers or look into anything that we ask of him. So please, if you have complaints or gripes, reach out to us. We'll obviously take a good job and pat on the back once in a while, but yeah, honestly, appreciate everybody, love the community. Look forward to the referendum next month, and moving things forward takes time. So stick with us, we'll get there. And on that note,